G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, this is the rugby show, but I really want to get this out of my chest because, it's just it's 2025 and my mind's already blown, right? One day into Trump's presidency. And I think Elon, knew exactly what he was doing. Whether you think he's racist or not, that's a different discussion. I don't speculate, but I do think that he did this for clout. I think he did it for clout, and I think he wanted to be the prettiest princess at the inauguration and taking the thunder, the lightning from Trump, so that the media will talk about him the next day. And it is. I think it is a little bit sad, to be honest. You have all the money in the world, and your ego just can't stand the fact that it is not your day. Okay, it is Trump's inauguration, and he has to do something to make sure that the media talk about him instead of Trump the next day. So yeah, I think it is a little bit. I don't know how Trump will feel about this, because it is a pretty blatant attempt to try to shift the focus, the media focus at least, onto himself. And it is just, no matter what you say, he had a bit of history with regarding to anti-Semitism, but it is quite bizarre to see, to say the least, to see the richest person in the world have nothing better to do than farming clout on the internet. Okay, so anyway, that's my little rant about it. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this? But whatever. Let's talk about rugby. Let's talk about the real news that we all actually care about, right? And that is the return of the greatest Wallaby ever, right? Michael Hooper has been called up to play for Toyota the Brits, and he's probably on his way back to the Wallabies. Oh boy. Who's cutting onion? Cut that out, okay? Oh boy. The Lions tour's coming up. Maybe he'll be on the bench for one of the games. That'll be really, really nice, really nostalgic, and much better send off for him as well to finish. Just one game in the Lions tour. Just come off the bench. That'll be amazing. But hey, I thought he would be itching quite a bit sitting on the sideline. And sure enough, he's been recalled by the Toyota Verblitz. This is coached by Steve Hanson, the former All Blacks head coach. Apparently, Hanson gave him a call due to the injury to Peter Septutoy, and he's, called up to play some rugby. And it's quite a big, I think it's quite a big testament to how much respect that he has around the world. Steve Hanson called him up to replace Peter Septutoy, who's by far the best player. I think he was the best player of the year last year. Or was it Anton Dupont? But I thought he was by far the best player last year, especially amongst the forwards. To have Michael Hooper step in, it's quite a big, show of respect and show of recognition from one of the greatest coaches of all time, Steve Hanson. So yeah, this is a big moment, and hopefully I get just a glimpse of happiness for him playing at the Lions tour, and that'll be emotional return for me indeed. Speaking of Steve Hanson, he has also talked about this week changing his mind regarding the eligibility laws from New Zealand. So he's kind of thinking that New Zealand should allow players to just play in Japan and still be eligible to play for the All Blacks, which I think it's kind of like what they're doing already, but except they have to kind of give special permissions for the sabbaticals. The big name players get a sabbatical to go to Japan and then play. And especially there's like a thing where Japan's season ends where the international season begins. So you kind of it doesn't really have any timing issues like, what you will see in Europe, where players kind of not available during certain times when the test matches requires the players to be present. So they don't have that issue here with Japan. And for me, I do think that this is just another way that New Zealand's going to leak out talent, and I don't think that is good for the long term of New Zealand, because I think the last thing New Zealand want is start losing to the Australian teams on a consistent basis. And I don't think that a lot of the, I know that the New Zealand fans are very, have a lot of deep traditions from, very young age, clubs funneling up to the Super Rugby teams, and, to see that their teams start not able to perform to the level that they're used to, I think will be very disappointing to a lot of New Zealand players, New Zealand fans, and I just don't think that opening this eligibility law for Richie Mo'unga essentially is really worth the long-term direction for New Zealand rugby. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if that's something that you would agree with. And speaking of New Zealand rugby, this is just a joke. This is the joke of the day, joke of the week. David Havili is a good player who could still add a bit to the All Blacks. I think that says it all. That's the joke of the week for you guys. Havili has been named the captain of 2023 for the Crusaders ahead of Scotty Barrett, right? I didn't know that Richie McCaw had to relinquish his captaincy whilst being the All Blacks captain, but hey, apparently that's what they do under Rob Penny's management, and yeah, it is a bit of a joke, I think, and yeah, that's actually 2 jokes for you this week, so enjoy that one. Moving on. Oh, there's another joke. Sorry, 3 jokes in a row. Eddie Jones has been called up to be a TV analyst at ITV Sport to replace his old mate, Clive Woodward, Sir Woodward. He's out there to replace Sir Woodward only for the home games for England rugby. I mean, my goodness, speaking of nepotism, speaking of how unpopular it is already for England rugby with, Bill Sweeney taking bonuses when the clubs are going bankrupt all around him. This is probably not the right move to have, the least popular person on the planet in the world of rugby to be at your commentary. But hey, ITV, really knows how to farm content as well. So yeah, speaking of Bill Sweeney, there has been a vote of a general meeting amongst all the clubs from England, the England unions. They're going to get together after the Six Nations for a vote to see if they're going to remove Bill Sweeney as the CEO of the RFU. Now, amongst all the signatures that's been signed includes members of the Rugby Football Referees Union, which are the referees. Member unions also participated in the criticism of the CEO, and Barnsley had a bit of a different take to the participation of the Football Referees Union in becoming a part of this saga, because he kind of thinks that the football, as the referees, they get criticized a lot. They shouldn't, criticize other people because it opens themselves up to be like a hypocrite, right? Because you're not supposed to criticize the referee, and if the referees are going out there criticizing people around them, the Bill Sweeney upstairs, it's not really a fair, it makes them look like hypocrites that they can't be criticized, yet they're gonna go around and criticize other people. So I think that Barnsley thinks that the referee should be a neutral involvement in all aspects of the game, include on and off the field, because the referee is supposed to be neutral on and off the field to maintain that neutral integrity, to stay out of controversies. I do kind of agree with this, to be honest. I didn't think of it like that. I kind of think referees just part of the union under the RFU. But I do think that Barnsley may have a point, because you don't want to be involved in controversies, because it kind of exposes yourself to be criticized later down the road, like Elon Musk, I guess, right? It's just going to eventually build up and come back and haunt you at some point. And I think that maybe he's right, just got to have to stay neutral, because you are kind of like the judge. It's like, the Supreme Court. They have to be neutral in all aspects and not have, sort of biases or get involved in things, asserting their opinions and stuff without unwarranted opinions and stuff, right? So it kind of makes sense there. Now, moving on, France has announced their 42-man squad for the Six Nations, and including Mr. Antoine Dupont. The big 2 changes is a couple of injuries from the French team, and that is not injuries. Anthony Geloc has not been selected at all. Not injury, he's just being left out of the group. Has been replaced by Romain Taufefe Noah, despite apparently some decent performances recently, so not too sure why that's the case, that he's not selected. But yeah, let's quickly go through the French team. Espen Abadi, Dorian Aldegheri, Gregory Aldridge, Uni Antonio, the big tight end prop, Hugo Oraduo. I don't know some of these people actually. Cyril Bai, Georgi Beria, Paul Bodegend, Joshua Bernan, George Henry Combe, Francois Croc, Thibaut Flamand, Marco Gazzotti, Jean-Baptiste Gros, Matthias Haragahu, Oscar Jegun, Anthony Jerok. It's been replaced. Maxime Lamotte, Julien Maconde, Petal Movaka, Emmanuel Miafal, Danny Priso, Rabah Slimani, Roman Taufefe Noah. So yeah, it's actually a lot of new names in this 4-pack. So yeah, I apologize for the pronunciations. I don't watch Top 14. I don't have access. So yeah, I apologize for that. In the back line, Theo Assi Gogp, Pierre-Louis Brassi, Leo Bear, Louis Bierbieri, Nicolas Deporteri, Galdrian, Antoine Dupont, Antoine Frisch, Emilian Galiton, Julian, Matthew Jalibert, Nolan Legaric, Maxime Luku, Yoram Moe Fana, Noah Nian, Roman Intermac, Damien Penold, Thomas Ramos, and Gabin Villiers. So yeah, obviously the most dangerous man on the French team is Damien Penold. I think he was missing in the November series. Was he injured? I think he was hurt. So yeah, he basically put on a 6-try display against the Sharks on the weekend, and it is pretty disappointing to see the Sharks get flogged so badly. But yeah, Damien Penold, quite a weapon to watch out for. In fact, all the French teams has been doing like absolute incredible like score lines against oppositions in the Champions Cup, I think. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see that if the French can upset the Irish team in the Six Nations this year because of how strong they are, and also the Irish team is going to be missing out on Andy Farrell, the head coach, with Simon Easterby temporarily taking over due to the Lions tour. So yeah. And a question obviously has to be asked for John Plumtree. What are you doing? You've got like half the Springbok squad, and how can you get flogged 66 points to 12 against Bordeaux? And yes, so Six Nations has been announced for the Irish team as well. Already talk about Easterby, taking over. He has followed some of the selection policies of Andy Farrell. I think Andy Farrell probably has some inputs in the selections as well. So a couple big names. I guess one big name that's missed out is, again, Jacob Stockdale has not been selected. Stuart McCloskey has been injured, has been ruled out. But yeah, it is kind of like, we have to see how this is going to click without Andy Farrell. Is Andy Farrell actually the one that's making the difference? Right? Is he the one that's actually making the difference? Or was it Johnny Sexton, the guy that's, carrying the whole team because he is indeed the greatest of all time? Who knows? Johnny Sexton is in camp, I believe, as well, as assistant, especially giving guidance to the younger 10s coming through. And Easterby is the head coach for this season. We'll have to see how they're going to go. But the French team looks very strong. So yeah, here's the Six Nations squad for the Irish. Ryan Beard, Finlay Bealham, Ty Burns, Jack Boyle, Thomas Clarkson, Jack Conan, Kalen Doris, I think he's the captain, Ty Furlong, Kian Healy, still here, oh my goodness, Ian Henderson, Rob Heron, he's just here to collect a paycheck from bloody, the number one player in the world, in my opinion, at the moment, at least number one forward, from Andrew Porter. So, Ian Henderson, Rob Heron, Cormac Izuchu Chiwuk, Ronan Keller, Gus McCarthy, Joe McCarthy, Peter Romani, Andrew Porter, James Ryan, Dan Sheehan, and Josh van der Fleer. In the back line, Bundy Aki, Colin Blade, Jack Crowley, Kieran Frawley, Jameson Gibson Park, Mac Hanson, Robbie Henshaw, Hugo Keenum, James Lowe, Connor Murray, Kevin Nash, Jimmy O'Brien, Jamie Osborne, Sam Prendergast, and Gary Ringrose. A couple of developmental players, probably an opportunity. Hugo Cooney, Cathro Ford, James McNabley, Ben Murphy. In the Scotland camp now, big big injury to the Scottish side. Simone Tuipulotu, who is also the captain, has been ruled out of the entire Six Nations. And also, yeah, Scott Cummings as well. Tuipulotu had a bit of a pectoral injury during training and it requires surgery, and that is a big muscle. He can't play rugby without that. It's been completely ruled out. Very, very big loss. And hopefully he'll be returning for the Lions tour because, yeah, it is going to be a big question marks on that as well, in terms of what sort of form he's going to be in coming back from such a big injury. So the Sharks apparently the Stormers apparently got swiped in the change rooms. That when they were playing Rugby 92, people were like wandered into the change room and had a laptop and a wallet stolen. But yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate. I remember this is kind of like a thing that happened to my team when I was in high school. We were playing a bit of a dodgy school, and we just left everything in the change room. We came back, everybody lost their phone and wallet. Like literally, we all got swept up. I guess it's a similar situation here for the Stormers. But this is a professional team. Like we were kids. Like we, didn't have proper guards around the door. The fact that someone was able to walk into the change room with no one watching the door, like I think, in my opinion, the guard, the people that are supposed to be guarding the entrances, might be in on it. That's my theory. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So apparently could potentially be a big co-hopper from Rugby League. There's a guy named Jordan Ricky. I don't really know him. He plays for Brisbane Broncos here in Australia. Brisbane Broncos had a pretty bad season last season. They almost won the premiership the year before, and then to completely get destroyed last season. So there's some talks that he could be going to the Harlequins. He is a New Zealander, so he's potentially going to Harlequins. There's not much of an opportunity there. I mean, if he gets, if he does really well, he might be able to play for the All Blacks at some point. But yeah, there's potential switching there. There it is. Jordan Ricky, Kiwi, playing for the Brisbane Broncos. 25 years of age. Quite big boy. He's 105 kilos. He's like, 6'3" or something. Very, very big boy. And speaking of switchings, so Michael Cheika it seems very, very likely, the speculations that he will be leaving the Tigers by the end of the season. He's only got a 1-year contract. Not really sure why. I think he's probably done it before. He's done the whole championship part. He probably just don't want to repeat that part of his career again. He wants to move on to something else. So he's going to be leaving the Tigers by the end of the season. He's done a much better job than Dan McKellar, who's currently coaching the Waratahs. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Dan McKellar's coaching the Waratahs, had an absolute atrocious season last year, and Cheika has turned it around. Currently, Tigers are sitting number 4 on the ladder. I think McKellar was 8th or something. At this point of the, in the end, I think it was a pretty poor season for them. And the replacement has been touted to be Graham Rowntree. But yeah, so this guy is going to be potentially taking over from Cheika after he's done. Anthony Watson has decided to retire due to just medical issues. He's had injuries in and out. He's been basically out of England camp for some times now, long periods of times has been out just due to repeated injuries. He would return and immediately gets injured basically, and that's the result. He's out. He's called a day. Only 30 years old, and he's gonna be sorely missed. He was absolutely one of the best player in the world at one point. Lions tour, probably most famously known to be the guy that Sonny Bill Williams shoulder charged and getting Sonny Bill sent off at the Lions tour, 4 years ago. I know 8 years ago. And I know how long is it now? 8 years ago at this point. But he's going to be out from that. So Jordie Barrett has moved to inside center as we kind of expecting. No more number 15 jersey for Jordie Barrett, and he's bumped. Who did he bump? He bumped somebody. He's bumped Ringrose, I think. Did he bump in Ringrose? Yeah, he's bumped Ringrose for the 12 jersey, it looks like. So yeah, Jordie Barrett, man, All Black legend in the making. Wallace Satiti, really disappointing. Breakout player of the year last year. Absolutely outstanding. He's a bloodline. He's a bloodline player. His daddy used to be a great All Black, and now he himself is carrying on the legacy. And yeah, you look at him, he's just incredible player, and he's injured, and he's going to be missing out the entire season this year. He is to a what is it? What happened? Oh, here it is. Yeah, he's got a knee injury that requires surgery. So yeah, that's really, really unfortunate. And also, there has been a number of All Blacks up for grabs for a national switch. Hoskins or Tutu, probably the most prominent one. Potentially a debut for England or Fiji, but I think Hoskins might go for the England option for more money. Akira Ioane, the next biggest thing, both players from the Blues. Akira has already signed to play in the club in Japan, so he's most likely going to be switching to Japan. He was born in Japan, so very likely that he's going to be heading over for Eddie Jones. Folau Fakatava, maybe for Tonga. He might just get called back into the All Blacks. He's actually, he was very promising coming up the ranks. I just think that the All Blacks hasn't given him that opportunity to grow, but the number 9 jersey is pretty stacked at the moment. I do think that Fakatava might be better than might be able to get a better than, Finlay Christie or something on the bench. But yeah, I'm not sure. He might be, I think Tonga might be an option for him there. George Bauer potentially going for Fiji, but I don't think he's going to get a spot. The Fijian scrum has been pretty stable, and I think it's pretty decent. I'm not sure if Bauer is even going to get a spot if he decides to switch to Fiji. Pinagasoa Kula might actually get a spot in Fiji, and he was outstanding for the All Blacks. Ian Foster used him for one game or something, and he was dropped. And yeah, not sure what the reason was, but he's going to be available to play for Fiji. And finally, the big one, Aiden Ross, potentially debuting for Australia, and he's also a prop. He will be joining the Reds as well. So yeah, that could be a potential big move for him, and a big bolster to the Wallabies front row issues. And Aiden Ross, hopefully he's getting a $5 million contract for 3 years and an extension for $2 million per year for 2 extra years on top of that, right? Hopefully that's what he gets. That's minimum what he should be getting for playing a prop. And yeah, moving on. Finally, the Welsh cap now. This is the 4th joke of the week. Warren Gatland issue a warning. Ride Wales off at your peril. I guess he's talking to, Georgia or something. Are they going to play Georgia or something? Or maybe America or something in the July Test series. Not sure, but maybe Italy. Potentially a warning there. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe if Warren Gatland don't lose every game this season, I'll probably apologize for this. He has called in Adam Jones as an assistant coach for the scrum coach for the Welsh. So yeah, that'll be a nice little boost for them. But I think the biggest issue is that they don't have a fly half. Okay, how do you not have a fly half, Gatland? I do not know, right? He has reluctantly not chosen. Not reluctantly, he has stubbornly not chosen Anscombe, and with what's his name injured, the other guy's injured, so he's just kind of left with a bunch of rookies at 10 position, and Gatland. Anyway, that's the news, guys. Let me know your thoughts on any of these things. Like, comment, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Cheers.